Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your August 2017 love reading. It's Raina here. Okay, I'm going to put out the cards. Okay, well, one of the things as I started to put out the cards, I was noticing how much Wands energy was present because even the focus card is the Knight of Wands, and the Wands connect to fire energy. So that is very passionate, enthusiastic about whatever is going on. And you will see that the relationship, if there is a relationship happening, is going to be in that very emotional in a positive sort of way, kind of a signature to that situation. It tends to be, when we talk about passionate, it's more of it could be a lusty kind of a thing. It could be very, I was going to say hot, but even heated in terms of, two people who are very vociferous. They're very expressive about how they feel for one another. And there's no doubt, it's not like, it's not like a mystery. You know that this other person is crazy about you. Let's look at the central card. This is the Knight of Wands. And this is connected to Sagittarius, actually. And I always say that I connect it more to Aries. So if that's a person in your life, an Aries person, a fellow fire sign, then perhaps that is happening for you. Now, if we were to look at this person and literally assign who they are, there would be a male under the age of 40, but it could be an older person who is either immature or they, I don't know if we should just say immaturity, but they kind of live in the moment, so they're very spontaneous. And Knights, by and large, are seen as chaotic, I think because it's a masculine energy. So it's very outwardly directed, and we have the fire. So it is like kind of a fire that's threatening to go out of control. Relationships that are like this are usually affairs, meaning that the sexual passion is front and center. The emotional, romantic part of it isn't necessarily so. So the person is like getting swept off their feet, but it's a physical kind of a connection, which is fine because you can develop that from there. But that card is specifically associated with kind of, for lack of a better term, good time Charlies, the people. And yeah, it is like talking about a man, because typically men are the ones who do that. Womanizers, men who are here one day, gone the next, and they sweep you off your feet, you think you're in love, and then they're gone. And yet you have this flame going on for them because they really light your fire. I mean, can I say any more references to fire here? But the thing about the Knight of Wands is he's not necessarily stable. And if you're looking for a stable relationship, you may feel like this person can't be counted on. And they can't, really. Now, I feel like with Sagittarius, it's a different story. If I were talking to a Cancer audience, and predominantly almost over 80% would be women, and most of them would probably be looking for men, they would want a man who is like the Knight of Pentacles, not necessarily the Knight of Wands, or maybe the Knight of Cups. But because you're Sagittarians, you may not mind a person like this. You may have certain qualities that are like this when you are the one. If you are the one who tends to be the aggressor, you may have these qualities yourself, where you like that passion, but you can see that it's not sustainable, and you don't want to stick around for the day-to-day grind of a relationship. And like looking at the past position, we have the Three of Wands, another Wands card. This is somebody looking for wide open spaces. This is somebody who is looking to expand their life. This is a card of travel, of if you have a business, of expanding it maybe to foreign territories. And so let's say that you did move to some other global locale for business purposes. Maybe you have an affair with the Knight of Wands because you know that it has a shelf life. That person, maybe you're a contract worker, and that person is too, and they are coming from a totally different country than you, and the chances of you making it permanent are not necessarily all that. So these are cards, the Knight of Wands and the Three of Wands are cards of adventure, okay? And it's not something that is domestic, or what we would look at as, even the Four of Wands is more about your domestic bliss. These are cards of exploration. I think of the Knight of Wands as somebody who kind of is like a male gypsy in a way, but they're exploring with a sense of enthusiasm for new horizons, kind of like a pioneer in that sense. But they're not necessarily putting down roots. And so now we get for the present tense. That's kind of setting the scene for what has come before, and the theme of the reading. Right, what's happening right now is the Seven of Wands. So we get 3 wands in the top position. And this is a card of being on the defensive. I've gotten this card over and over again. So apparently this is a theme in people's lives. We do have 2 new moons in Leo. The first one being during July, for those who are watching in earlier July 23rd. And then we have a second one, which this month covers August, in a solar eclipse on August 21st. And so the theme of fire is very prevalent in August because of Leo. The sun is in Leo. And so Leo deals with issues. We think of pride when we think of Leo. Leo is the sun. Okay. So the sun in astrology for us is our outer healthy ego, our sense of ourselves in this context, not in our souls, which is, is the totality of all of our incarnations and all that. It's this lifetime, what we came here to express, and it's that sense of our dignity, I would say, as well. And so that may be an issue for some people in relationships. The Seven of Wands can be being on the defensive. Now, why would somebody be on the defensive when those other 2 cards are dealing with such expansive kinds of issues? Well, I would say for one thing, when, if you're involved in a relationship with somebody who turns out to be, and they might be a fellow fire sign, as I say, and they turn out to be, maybe you decide that you really have feelings for this person, and they are the one. They're the one that pulls back, and you feel like you want something more out of this, and it's kind of like defending your honor. It's like defending your own honor, being your own knight in shining armor, and defending your honor. I said armor and honor, and not feeling like there's anything wrong with wanting something more. There are people who will try to say, well, I don't want this. And you may have misunderstood what the relationship was really about. The fact that the Knight of Wands is the centerpiece is saying, this is who this person is. Take it or leave it. And if you decide to take it, that means that you have to play in the rules of that relationship. Now, it could also mean that this person is trying to somehow dictate to you how you should be. Maybe they're arrogant. That's one of the side effects of fire, is arrogance. And they may be acting like they're better than you are in some way, And you may feel like you're on the defensive. And I was saying this in another reading, that anytime that you feel constantly on the defensive, that's a time to really look at that relationship, not necessarily just in this type of a romantic setting, but in any kind of relationship where the other person tries to act like you're not okay. That's a sign that you're in possibly in a toxic relationship. Sometimes people do challenge you, and that can be the best thing for you. Because we don't always act as we should, and sometimes those closest to us can sense that, and they feel comfortable telling us that, and that's a different story. I'm not talking about ever receiving any kind of critical feedback. I'm talking about on a regular basis, and if there's just this sense that you're not connecting and not understanding each other, then that might be a sign that the relationship is not a healthy one. So the higher message is the Three of Pentacles, and this is the Architect's card, and this is the card of building something that is long-lasting. I think about, it's funny because I'm going downtown in Chicago today, and Chicago has some very significant architecture in the whole world. People come from all over the world to look at some of the buildings in Chicago. Very ornate buildings that have stood the test of time. And you look at these buildings, not just skyscrapers, but just well-constructed, artistic-looking buildings. And you think to yourself, did they know? Did they build this thing to really last? And it seems like they did. And it's enduring. And that's what some of you want that. Even though you're fire signs and you love your freedom, you may want something more than a flash in the pan affair. Right underneath, this card is right underneath that Knight of Wands. That's the contrast between what you may want and what you may have. And I guess part of the key is, with that Three of Wands, it's saying to you, how much do you value freedom over how much do you believe that you can have freedom within a relationship? Because these are both, it's interesting, these are both number threes. The number 3 is a number of creativity. And I would say expansion, because there's a sense of abundance associated with the threes. And yet, the Three of Pentacles as the spiritual message is all about tangibility. So it's not about platitudes. It's not about somebody giving you gifts. It's about that sense of constancy, day after day, stability. The things that you can really hold in your hand to prove that somebody cares. And I'm not talking about material objects. I'm talking about just the fact that they stay there, that you can call them and they they answer the phone, that they're not elusive, in other words. And sometimes Sagittarians are attracted to those who are elusive because they love freedom so much. But eventually you may get to the point where you want to settle down. And the trick is to find somebody that can sustain your interest. What crosses you is the Hermit card. And this is a card in the upright position of seeking wisdom. In the challenge position, it is spurning wisdom. And it's also like an inner thing. So I would say for Sagittarians, you know, we are supposed to be the sages. So it's not like we're spiritually ignorant, a lot of us. But it could just be hyperactivity, doing so much, being so active that you lose that connection to the soul. You don't meditate. You're too much in the world, okay? In whatever way that applies to you. And sure enough, the advice is the High Priestess, connecting with your higher self. Sometimes this placement can be the near future. So this could be saying that there's something to be revealed. There is going to be a full moon. It's a lunar eclipse in August, on August 7th. And this will occur in the 3rd house. In Aquarius, the 3rd house for Sagittarians. The 3rd house is about communication, including the internet. So perhaps some of you will find something out about the person that you have been dealing with online. And maybe you'll find out that they are a womanizer or whatever. And that will be enough for you to make a better decision, because we do have, it seems like there's some kind of a decision. I mean, this is the end result. Now, I think this could be something, you know, career related. The wands can relate, connect to career. This is a card of should I stay or should I go? And with the 3 of wands in that top left corner and the 2 of wands here, these are both connected to travel, potential travel, I should say. But it may be that you are being offered something by a company and you still don't know. Maybe you're thinking of this person and saying, you know, I want to give this person a chance. Well, what I would say about that is, if you are kind of feeling like this person is not reliable, don't give up your dreams for a person who may turn out just to be playing you. But there seems like, you know, it's really funny, because I was thinking as I was doing this, I wonder if people are going to enjoy this reading who are Sagittarians. But I think you really should, because I think that even this card, the 3 of Pentacles, you could be building something in your career. And maybe it's saying also with that 3 of Pentacles, don't throw things away for that Knight of Wands. You know, you have a lot of good career cards here. And you may get distracted by somebody, and you may, don't let that impact your wonderful and prosperous and successful reading here. Because you may have other things going on that kind of trump this person. And who knows, that person may not be a bad person. They may just be sowing their wild oats. Maybe they got out of a long-term relationship themselves. So I'm not saying even that person's a bad person. It's if you look actually at this these cards, they always have this, you know, green, these leaves on the wands. That's showing growth, expansion. And people expand through exploration, not being stagnant. So this person can really expand your horizons, and your career can expand your horizons as well. So you may be expanding in many different ways at this time, and it can be very heady, very exciting for you, Sagittarius. So I think I'll leave that there, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have an awesome August. Bye.